Here I got just a little external sugar water for them to sip on. We're just breaking out of spring. These lilies opened up an hour ago. I just walked through there, they weren't there. Well, good day folks. Welcome to Stuff and Such. Today we're working away in the bees. It's a bit of a disorganized mess at the moment. That's alright. I've got 3 more hives to do, and what I'm doing is basically breaking down the hives after the winters. I overwinter in single deep brood chambers. That means there's only bees in the bottom, but I had a dead out, a hive that died in the winter time, so I took their box with resources in it and just set it on top with a queen excluder in between, and that way the bees can go up there and get some resources if they need it. But that's kind of getting past time. We're getting pollen now, we're getting a bit of nectar coming through, so now it's time to get them ready to start making honey. What I'm doing is bringing everything back down to a single brood chamber, and by doing that I will then be able to quickly bounce around and find the ones that are strong, find the ones that are behind, and then steal a frame from a strong one of brood and bees, stick it in a weak one. I got a weak one over there that I need to do. We'll try and maybe get to that today, but big thing today I want to get done is just make sure that I get these 3 down to a single brood chamber, starting with the one we're on. Typically I always use gloves. I would love to be able to not use gloves, but we'll see what their demeanor is with gloves, and then we'll maybe go away from them. We'll see. Go ahead and give these guys a little introductory smoke. Let them know that I'm coming in to say hi. All the stuff on top is just kind of storage of lids and insulation. Let's put it over here. I guess I misremembered. This will be easy. It's quite a weak hive. Didn't realize it was actually this week. Only about two frames of bees, maybe 3. But we'll give it a little check out and see what it's in. Make sure there's a queen laying. Usually when hives are this small, they're usually pretty docile. Oh, that's no good. This frame just ripped in half. So I guess it's a good thing it's coming out. As long as there's a laying queen in here, we're not in too much trouble. Man, these are really stuck in there. Come on. Oh, comb's garbage. So that's probably all sugar water. So we're going to take that frame out and the one that's broke. A bunch of dead bees down there. What do we got in here for resources? It's really light, or really tippy for some reason. So overall, pretty poor hive. Poorly drawn comb, a whole whack of stuff. I feel like based on the position of where this hive is, it was a really late swarm. There's some nectar in there, so they're doing something. So I'm gonna get a little drastic here. So this must have been a late swarm. Typically, I only ever screw boxes on when I'm catching a swarm. It's super annoying. I really ought not to do it. There we go. All right. So you can't really see, probably. But that's full of garbage. So this here is a hive that's pretty bad. We're working good and hard. It's just I don't know if they got much to work with. There's no brood on this one. We're putting a little nectar in. I'm going to try centering this hive. Man, there's a lot of junky frames on this. There's one. So I got one nice one here. One, if I can get a queen onto that thing, she'll fill it up. So we're gonna put that right in the center. We'll put this one on the other side. I'm gonna need to find a frame of bees somewhere from my hive, or my apiary. Let's see, I imagine the queen's on this one. Tiny little cluster brood. Are you on here, Miss Queen? Hey, hon? Little tiny cluster. Oh, there she is. She's pretty. She's not overly strong though. I don't know. We'll keep a tight eye on this hive over the next week. I'm not seeing piles of brood. If I can find a frame with some eggs on it, they may start a supersedure process. So they might start trying to get rid of this queen and make a new one. The ladies will know if that's the case. There is some open stuff in there, but I don't know why she's not using it. So that's kind of an indication that something's not perfect. So right now what I'm going to do is throw just a lid on this for now. She'll be fine like that. And then I'm going to go try and find another frame of resources to put in here. So this is probably my strongest hive at the moment. It is a little more spicy hive, more than I'd love, but so hopefully I can find a frame about 3 in with some decent brood. Nice strong colony right here. Well, perhaps I should soothe you with my voice while we voice over this portion. Dirty, rotten bee decided to get into my microphone and causing all sorts of disturbing buzzing and so on. So I'm going through these frames here. See that first frame? It has a small patch of brood. It wasn't ideal, but it wasn't too bad. So I set it aside for now. I'm gonna pull out the second one. Most of the bees that are on the brood are called nurse bees. They've yet to graduate to the forage bee stage. So what happens is they hatch out from the brood, and then their first job is to take care of the next generation that's coming up. So they haven't left the hive, they don't know where their hive is located. You'll see on the front actually, they're kind of doing an orientation flight a bit on the front of this particular hive we're working on. You see them kind of doing figure eights and just hanging out in front. That's a new bee coming out and learning its new home before it strikes off to become a worker bee out of the hive. So by taking these frames and putting them into the other hive, I guarantee you for the most part, most of the bees will stay there and be adopted into the new hive and tend to the new queen once they get familiar with her scent and help her to lay and give her resources and food. I just went over there to install a couple frames, give this particular hive a chance to just calm down a bit. They're a little rambunctious, they want to get wound up. Making sure, when I look at the frames, I study them and making sure that there's all the stages of brood on them, looking for larvae, looking for little eggs, looking for freshly capped brood and brood that's emerging. Here I'm checking the last frame, seeing just how full this box actually is with brood, checking the laying pattern a bit. On this particular frame, she didn't quite come all the way to the edge, which is fine. They don't need to do. Often it's just a resource frame. Figured I'd take one more, really slow this hive down, try and find it more of an average so that we can match it to other hives in the future. With this hive and this queen, and she'll lay, if she's in a real prime, she can lay somewhere between 1,000 to 3,000 eggs per day, which is pretty remarkable. If I remember, I think one deep frame holds about 5,000. So it really doesn't put her too far behind, providing she has the support system to get going. Look at that beautiful frame of brood coming out there. That one's the crown jewel for injecting into the new hive. Because not only do you get the bees, you also get all those freshly hatched bees, which I think it's something like 500 bees or so cover the face of a frame, but a frame holds about 5,000. So it's really once they emerge, they make up a huge portion once they hatch. Now that the frames of bees and brood and eggs are installed into that weak hive, it's time to backfill the empty space with drawn comb. By putting drawn comb in, it's one of the more valuable resources that a beekeeper has. By having drawn comb both in honey and in laying, it offers such a drastic increase of productivity. It's kind of like having rooms in a house versus having to build the house. As soon as I put those frames in, she can walk over there and her little attending bees will follow her over, and then she can lay today, right now. Whereas if they have to draw a comb, it all depends on nectar flow and if the bees are of the right age and of the right temperament, of the right genetic makeup. My first bees, they didn't have much desire to draw a comb, and it made things very difficult. But it seems lately the genetics have been improving, and now they're more desirous of building comb, which has been helpful. So we're done in this hive now. Now it's time to button it up and let her get back to work. She'll be able to, with having a bigger population, she'll be able to lay more eggs. And also, being that there's more, now that there's eggs, they can, if she's a crappy queen, they can replace her. Alright, I just need to throw a top on and she's good to go. So that might be just a good enough video in itself of what you can do to help a limping hive. Well, we'll wrap this video up and we'll call it good. So, bye for now, and we'll see you on the next one.